Now, let's take you right back, if I may, to your childhood. Very humble beginnings. Tell us about them.
Well, I was born to a poor family. I was born in poverty in Puerto Rico. I came to the States when I was 5 years old in 1950. I was born in 1945. And, well, I was always surrounded by music. I had an uncle who was musical, and when I was 3 years old, I would accompany him on a tin cracker can, and that's when I knew that I had a knack for making music out of anything. So then I learned to play the harmonica at the age of 4, and at the age of 5, I went to New York to live in Spanish Harlem. And at the age of 7, I learned to play the squeeze box, the accordion, concertina actually. And then I learned, at the age of 9, I started to learn to play the guitar. It took me a while, of course, but I would practice all the time. A friend of my father's gave me my first guitar, and I would practice on that, and I would listen to the radio, and I was listening to rock and roll then, and I would learn from listening to the radio.
That was probably a very good decision to learn the guitar.
Oh, most definitely. I love the instrument. I don't think there's an instrument quite like it. I know pianists would probably beg to differ with me or whatever. I think you are a slave to your own instrument, and I'm a slave to the guitar. I love the guitar.
That must have been a huge decision to uproot and emigrate to America.
It was. At the time, my father had gone to New York, a year or so before, and had landed a job, and then he sent for us. And of course, his sister, my aunt, helped him. She had a small apartment, which was the apartment we moved to, and she, in turn, got herself a bigger apartment, her and her husband. She was a seamstress. And of course, her husband was a cook in a restaurant. So it was one of those things.
I know you were very young at the time, but can you remember, your sort of first day arriving in America?
Well, I do remember the first winter that I spent in America.
Yes.
It was something I did not comprehend, because in Puerto Rico it never gets cold. And when we went to New York in the late summer, so I thought everything was going to be like Puerto Rico. And then winter came. Winter in 1950 was really, really cold, and I remember my aunt getting me what we call a snowsuit, and that was really something, because we suffered from the cold. And I think that kind of made it so that even today, I don't like winter.
Really?
Yeah.
You had to earn a living at a young age as well. How did you go about earning money?
Well, I earned money by playing music. My first job was with the accordion at the age of 9 while I was still learning the guitar. I worked in a theater in New York City called the Puerto Rican Theater, and I earned money that way. Or when with the accordion, I would play with certain bands and earn a little money. And then with the when I learned to play the guitar fairly well, I earned money that way. And then in my teenage years, I started working in Greenwich Village, and that's why I earned some money to help my parents. And that was it for a while, till I then, when I was about 19, I landed my first recording contract on RCA Records. A producer who was at RCA found me at a place called Gertie's Folk City. He came to see a folk group, because, folk music was happening in the 60s, and so he signed me. This was in 1964.